lights are on, the cameras are hot, and the audience is fired up. They're looking for Sneaky on the Demon Blade. Long range from Bunny Foo-Foo. He comes hopping through the forest.
Bunny Foo-Foo goes all in on me, and I'm like, oh my god, I hate this. It's really important for us to beat Coast.
Huge by NANCloud. The duel against Shifter, the knock of Shifter. Can he win this fight?
They're looking stronger, but I still think they're very beatable.
Wild Ghost goes out. They're going to get the blast in. Wood blast. Ricochet.
They got Bjørksen, the best mechanical player in NA.
So good.
We're definitely going to have to bring our A game.
They've been wanting to beat us for a very, very long time.
Welcome everyone to Week 10 of the North American League Championship Series Spring Split. We're coming to you live and in color from our studios here in Los Angeles. Hello everyone, I'm Ruben Division III, and with me is Joshua Jat Leesman. Jat, how are we doing this week?
I just got to say I'm doing pretty good, Rip. It's nearing the end here of this LCS regular season. We're just gearing up for the playoffs right now. But that doesn't mean these games this week don't have a pretty big impact.
Seems like it all just started yesterday. But big news this week. Dignitas announcing that after 2.5 years as a starter on the team, Scarra would be stepping down off the Rift and taking over as the team's coach.
Yeah, it was really big news. And you know, this move was meant to stop Dignitas to slide down the standings and make them more of a threat for the playoffs. And you know, so far this year, even though Scarra's had a great career, 7th in kills, 2nd in total deaths, and 3rd in assists for mid laners. So not the year you'd expect from Scarra. But you can't discount what he's meant to his team and to the sport. Scarra has been a long-time presence in the North American LCS. He went to Worlds in Season 2, was overwhelmingly voted to represent North American All-Stars, taking 50% of the votes last year, and he is also one of the most watched streamers and highly respected amongst all the pros. So still, great career for Scarra, but he's out this week.
Right, and on that point, taking over the mid lane for Dig is going to be Golden Glue, who comes from the North American Challenger Series where he was playing for Complexity Red.
Yeah, he's coming off the Challenger Series where they placed 3rd in Series 1, and then they recently lost in the quarterfinals of Series 2. He was playing with some familiar faces as well. He's getting a bit of experience. He played with NK Inc. and Evaniscus, who used to play for the O Velocity, so he's kind of in there.
And we can't forget, Dignitas wasn't the only one to see personnel changes. Evil Geniuses have 2 of their regular players, Yellow P and Snoopy, returning to the starting lineup, while Crepo is out again today.
Yeah, covering support once again this week is going to be Ken from the Challenger team, the Blue Pill. He had a tough debut last week as EG went 0-2 against a decidedly strong schedule, COG and Cloud9. So today they face Dignitas and then Coast later in the week. So it gets a bit easier, but it's still tough.
See what they can do. All these changes come as teams lace up their shoes for the last sprint towards the spring split finish line.
Right. Each team has only 6 games left. The bottom 5 teams are also only separated by 3 wins, which means every game for those guys is critically important as they hope to avoid summer relegation.
And if they can't climb out of the danger zone, they at least want to give themselves the best chance of success by being able to choose who they face.
Yeah, just to people's home are following the NA Challenger Series. The pros are as well, and nobody wants to face LMQ.
Yeah, easy to say there. Finally, starting today, teams will be playing on the 4.4 patch, which means the Eye of the Void Vel'Koz is available for play. Now let's check in with the hashtag burning up the internet, hashtag LCS Big Plays. Today's standout moment comes from the European LCS with a massive momentum shift around the Baron pit. At Freljord, Ash writes, Super Hot Crew owning Gambit at Baron. Nice one from none other than Super Hot Crew versus Gambit. Here's your number 1.
Yeah,
and this play was ridiculous.
Yeah, Gambit thought they had the big lead here, so they tried to force Baron because Kale was dead. But the magic resist debuff from the Baron pit meant Super Hawk Crew could just destroy them. Everybody just bail out right at the end, and they end up losing the Baron as well. It was a huge turning point in that Super Hawk Crew victory.
So many people kind of forget that you still need a ton of damage to take down Baron as well, because he's going to deal it right back to you. Super Hawk Crew pulls out of that one quite nice and gets that Baron on it. Big play of the week goes to them. Remember to share your favorite moments from today's games at LOL Esports and use that hashtag LCS Big Plays. There were some big shakeups in the European League table after their Week 10 action and resulted in, you guessed it, more ties. Joining SK Gaming in a 3-way tie for first are Alliance and Fnatic.
Let's look at those standings. Gambit and Roccat slid down to a tie for 4th place and then clinching the MVP honors as well. was aligned to support Nip. He had a big week on Thresh and Leona.
And now let's take a look at the North American standings, brought to you by the new season of Game of Thrones. In first place, Team Solo Mid with only 3 losses on the year.
Big cheer for them, but Cloud9 just 1 game back in second. Third place is Counterlogic Gaming at 14-8, and then the tie for fourth. Pretty far back though, Curse and Dignitas.
And 2 games back, it's Coast in 6th place. Then tied for 7th is Evil Geniuses and XDG Gaming. We'll check out how all that changes after our 4 games today with Dignitas versus Evil Geniuses up first.
After that, it's a big match between Counterlogic Gaming and Team Solo Mid. Then Coast look to hold on to 6th place when they face off against XDG.
We'll conclude our LCS day with Curse versus Cloud9, but be sure to stay tuned immediately following our LCS action for the North American Challenger Series 2 semifinals. That's what's coming down the pike today, but let's take a closer look at the players we'll be watching.
Yeah, up first, the guy we have to watch is the new man for Dignitas, Golden Glue. After climbing to 3rd place, Dignitas has been sliding back down the standings, and this move has to give Dignitas some type of boost. If it doesn't, then what have they really done with themselves? Because this was a huge decision by Dignitas.
We'll see what happens. We'll also keep an eye on Nien from Counterlogic Gaming. He has a big challenge ahead of him when he squares off against Dyrus. If CLG wants to overtake Cloud9 or TSM, they will need to win today, and Nien will have to step it up and make some big plays for the team.
Yeah, and of course we have to look at Zion Spartan. He was so good in Coast victories, but he has been bad during their 6-game losing streak. They need to be a solo lane focused team. That means both solo laners need to do well, and that means Zion Spartan has to step it up.
Next up is Bunny Fufu. So far this year, Curse has had 3 different supports: Zken, St. Vicious, and now Fufu himself. In his 6 games, Bunny Fufu has had a better start, helping his team go 4-2, and now they've climbed into 4th.
Yeah, speaking of bottom lanes as well, Yellow Pete is back this week, and we're going to have to be watching him. He does not have Crepo with him for game 1. He will be playing with Ken, and in order for EG to succeed, they've relied a bit on their solos, but if they really want to stay in the LCS, Pete's got to step up in his return.
We will see what they can do. If you think these players will give their team the win, then head over to lolesports.com and share your predictions. Be sure to click on schedules, week 10, and lock in your vote.
Also there you can find interviews with the pros, statistics, and box scores. Or if you're feeling nostalgic, take a stroll down memory lane and rewatch all the games from this year.
You can also plan your trip to the NA LCS today. Click on tickets for all the details and how you can join our audience.
Yeah, and also, Riv, you can get international coverage at lolesports.com.
Yeah.
Big news out of the OGN, by the way. SKT, T1K, the world champions, and also the winners of last season of Champions, got 2-0'd by KT Rolster Arrows last night in the group stage. Spoilers, sorry, but it did happen. They're pretty much kicked out of the group stage as long as their sister team wins 1 more game in their 2 matchups. So that's just huge news there.
It's pretty crazy to think about. We got a lot of matches to go over for us today, but for now, we're going to send it across the studio to Kobe and Freak, who are joined by a very special guest.
Hey guys, thank you very much, Riv. And you can hear the crowd. Scarra, you popular guy. I'm David Freak Turley. With me is Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler. So Scarra, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, we could hear from the crowd. There was some really big news this weekend. We brought you in. It's going to affect pretty much all the mid laners in the LCS. Bjergsen got a haircut. What's your take on this?
I think him and Reckless have a lot of synergy now. Maybe looking to bring over a new AD carry from Europe.
All right. In all seriousness, though, bringing in Golden Glue, when you went to go pick him up, did you have any time to give him advice? Like, there's a whole lot to go over coming from the Challenger scene going into the LCS. What were some of the big things that you really wanted to convey to Golden Glue?
Just like the mindset when you play mid. Like, it just seems like he needed someone to help him realize like what to do in certain points. Like, he may question himself in certain areas, and a lot of that just comes through like matchup knowledge. And that's something that I know very well. And so he finally has someone else to talk to about any questions that he has, and I'm just there to guide him to become a better player.
So what is it about Golden Glue that made your team seek him out to put him in the mid lane?
It was like a month ago where I was like, oh, I think Golden Glue could be actually pretty good. And then after that, like I started performing pretty poorly, and the team decided to search out Golden Glue to replace me as a mid lane.
Mm-hmm. What do you think Golden Glue will bring to the team?
I think he's a more aggressive player, and he's got specific champion picks that I don't play. So, and I don't want to say anything else, but he's really good on those champions, and it's going to be a treat to watch today.
Yeah, did the rework of Gragas have anything to do with this?
Yeah, that's the main reason. My team was like, you're done.
4.5 Gragas, Nevermore for Scarra. So, yeah, we have seen Golden Glue play a lot of Assassins, Akali, Yasuo being really big ones in the Challenger scene. So you said you talked to him about mindset and stuff. Have you already seen him grow in the short time you've been kind of coaching him, or not yet?
Yeah, definitely. I've seen him become a better player in front of my eyes, so to speak. It's just like I feel like the questions that he has are like very simple. It's like he only needs a wall to bounce back what he already knows, and for like the most of his questions, and I could just be there and be like, "You're right." So he just needs someone to literally be there and be like, "You're right," and I feel like that will help him a lot in terms of confidence and just playing the game better.
That's good. I'm glad you're helping him out there to get his confidence up. So then I want to talk to you then about your career here, because you've, of course, been with Dig for 2.5 years, popular streamer for a while. What are some big moments for you for the last while?
The biggest thing I can think of, and I was playing yesterday, was my APE game against TSM. That was really the shining moment of APE as soon as he got nerfed, like right before he got nerfed. So that was a pretty big game for me in terms of the LCS. Of course, one of my favorite memories was my first debut at IPL 3. We came out, I played top lane, so something completely random, and we won the tournament with me playing a champion I had played like twice before. So it was just it's like the first tournament I ever went to, so of course that sparks a lot of memories.
Always a good feeling. So looking forward now, you're moving into sort of a coaching position. What are the goals that you have so far for yourself for coaching Team Dignitas? What kind of direction do you want to take the team in now?
I think it's really easy for me to be able to slip back into a coaching position, because a lot of times I was just focused on how to make myself better. But now that I can see like the bigger picture, like making the team better as a whole just means that I have to concentrate on like their biggest weak points. Like we spent a lot of time this week just working on rotations, stuff that like the mid game where I feel like Dig has a near perfect 5 minutes. Like the first 5 minutes, Dig plays extremely well, but after that, it's like starts to crumble. And so I spent a lot of time working on that crumbling factor, especially this week.
At least you will see if you guys can keep the crumbs together here with this one. We want to get your thoughts on our Twitter question of the day today. The groans make it worse. Our Twitter question of the day. Twitter question of the day. Man, I'm bad today. Which player in the North American LCS has impacted the way you guys play, and how? Now for Scarra, any players that have impacted your career?
I would say like for Seasons 2, I know GG played a really big impact. And although he's not here with us anymore, like he impacted almost all the mid laners in NA. And I know personally from talking to him a lot, like I know I used to talk to Link a lot. And in this, in the previous season, and in this split, I talked to Shifter. I ended up talking to Shifter quite a bit. So those are the 3 mid laners I'd like looked up to / just conversed with a lot, and just had a lot of different like back and forths with.
And actually, as a follow-up, I know a lot of players, after hearing your retirement, like pros talking about how much you impacted them as well in their careers. How do you feel about like the pros who are like, they're kind of like sad you're gone?
I mean, it was really heartwarming, I would say, because at the time that it happened, like it was still kind of a shock to me, and now it's like they said that, so I was able to be like, well, I'm glad I was able to make these kind of memories for them and like with them.
It's good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us and making some memories for the North American fans here today. And for you guys at home, actually, if you want to send your answers to @lolesports.com and use that hashtag LCS, then you might hear your 140-character response later in our show.
So, guys, while you draft your tweets, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll jump right into our first game of the day, Dignitas versus Evil Geniuses. Stay golden glued to your seats.